how we do it.
It's about to go down. It's about to go down. Yeah.
Hey besties, welcome to another prison story time. If you click play today, I'm so happy you joined in. If you're new here, my name is Barbie Diora. Oh my god, I'm so happy you click play. Make sure before we go any further, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're new here, because baby, why not, baby? It is very lit over here and I don't want you to miss anything. Okay, make sure you like, comment, share, and do all the things. And before you leave, y'all, I want y'all to go to my description box and make sure y'all shop with the doll. Okay, the doll has wrote a book, child, baby. It's called Crown On, and I want y'all to go and support the queen. Okay, the book is located on Amazon, or you can go to my website, Diva Supply, and make sure you shop. If you shop with me on my website, it comes with a whole bunch of goodies, but versus if you buy it on Amazon, you just get the book, child. But whatever you want to do it, child. And there's some other things on my website. Make sure y'all shop away. But anyway, enough of that. Y'all are not here for that. Y'all are here for the tea, child. Y'all want to hear prison story time. I heard y'all like it. If you have watched more than one, if y'all have watched more than one prison time story, drop some purple hearts in the comments. I want to see those purple hearts. If you watch more than one, if you don't watch maybe 4 or 5 prison story times, drop some purple hearts in the comments. I want to see what's going on, okay? Because the numbers are going up, but baby, we got another one. And the name of this prison story time is called The Plug, baby. Baby, let's get into it. Okay, so I had been with the prison almost 2 years now. And I'm still a correctional officer. I'm a correctional officer, and I've been with the prison for 2 years. I know my job for the most part, and baby, after you've been there for a year, anytime we get something new, somebody new, guess what, baby? You gotta train them, okay? So one day in lineup, we got a new officer in there. This officer, he's a white male, and we don't have that many people like that in there. Now in the prison time. So anyway, child. You had to shift some things around because it was saying I ran out of storage, baby. Not too much on there. I need to tell my besties a story. So anyway, the young man, he showed up. He was about, if I was 5'3", he was about 5'6". He was a white guy, and like I was saying before, we didn't have a lot of white people that work with us. Now I'm gonna say, like, out of the whole prison, let's say we had roughly 400 officers that were black, and let's just say we had about 150 officers that were white. Okay, so we didn't really have a lot of white officers, and there wasn't nothing wrong with them, honey. Every officer for the most part that I worked with was pretty cool, okay? But this young man had a swag to him. You could tell that he hung with black people all his life, okay? And we gonna call him Officer Scott. Officer Scott came in there. He had a little swag to him. He kind of put me in the mind of, not Sim Shady. What is that young man name? I can see him. Paul Wall. He kind of give you that. He kind of gave you Paul Wall. So either way, the young man, he was in lineup, and I noticed them, and he was lined up with us, and we were on the green unit, and they put him in the line with us. So I was like, oh Lord, we got a new person. So I was like wondering who they gonna get to train, because I'm thinking in my head, I hope they don't get me to train nobody, because baby, I didn't really like to train people, because baby, this is the thing with training people. If the person do bad, they can always blame you. But if you come in and be like, I ain't train them, you know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? So I'm like, I don't want no parts of that, baby. I don't want to train that young man. If he mess up, he mess up. But most of the time, because I was the police, they got me to train people, okay? I figured like, if I'm a girl, they gonna get a man to train him. Baby, that won't be it. Anyway, so the lineup went on. They was giving another briefing what was gonna do. They cleared it out. They told everybody to have a good day. He began to walk with us because he was new. It's time for him to go back with us. So we went back to the unit. It was his first day. So me understanding how I was on my first day, and kind of being scared or whatever, it was kind of different because he didn't give that procedure of being scared. The man didn't look scared at all or whatever. He was like, he just asked, what do we do next? I said we could walk to the unit. And then I said, when we walked to the unit, I saw the sergeant, and I was like, that's your sergeant right there. You know what I'm saying? I'm pointing to Sarge. And we just gonna call the sergeant Sarge. So anyway, I said the Sarge, that's the supervisor. He kind of tells us what to do. So when we get on the unit, he gonna tell us where he want us to be or whatever. So when we got to the unit, we went to the sergeant's office, and the sergeant just was like, hey, I want you officer such and such here. I want you officer such right here. I want you officer such and such right here. And he giving everybody, because it's about 9 of us all together. And the new officer, Officer Scott, makes 10. So he was like, Officer Scott, you're with Officer Baker. I'm Officer Baker, if you don't know, because somebody be like, oh, you say your name, where do you go? I'm Officer Baker. You were Officer Baker. I'm like, ooh. Then some of the officers like, yes. I'm like, not too much. Not too much. Like, I don't have to do it, because a lot of people didn't like that, what we call babysit. Okay, when you train somebody, they call it babysit, because you can't move like you want to. Okay, it ain't like we was cricket, but sometimes you like to swerve, and sometimes, and we call it swerving when you go from unit to unit. Like, you go from this unit, that unit, you supposed to be on your unit, but sometimes you will swerve on different units just to chit chat with your friends, and then you come back or whatever. You can't swerve when you got a baby, which you know what I'm saying, because he's a baby, because you know you can't swerve like that. But either way, I ain't do that too much, so I won't really worry about it. Hold on, that's my sorry. My son is at a football game, honey, and he calling me and said, Mama, the football game over. I said, you better call your daddy, because I ain't coming to get you, baby. I'm working anyway. Woo, I'm so happy he's getting out the house and being a teenager, baby, because it was a beautiful experience when I was at that age and I could go to the games and be fixing. But y'all don't care nothing about that. Y'all is here for the story. So anyway, what would it be? Okay, so they put me with him or whatever, and I had to train him, okay? Period, okay? I wasn't really excited about it, but he looked cool. I was just hoping he was cool. So we started our day in the booth. So either way, we had to go to the booth. And if you're not sure what the booth is a place where you have to climb up these stairs or whatever, and it's an area where you control the doors. Like, you're the person that the booth officer, like, it's not a assigned booth officer. Everybody rotates and take their turns, but we open all the doors on the unit and everything, whatever. So we're in the office, and you know the sergeant is giving out commands, and he's saying, you're there, you're there, you're there. Hey, Officer Scott, you're with Officer Baker or whatever. And she's gonna train you real good. She's one of my best officers. And I was like, yeah, pump me up, won't you? Just trying to pump me up. Now you need to train him. This is a man. So he was like, all right. Because he was real cool. He had a real cool, like, persona. Like, that's straight. All right, that's what's up. So either way, I was like, well, we're going to start our day off in the booth or whatever. And so he was like, okay, that's straight. So we go to the booth. And, you know, I asked him straight up, are you scared? And he was like, no, I'm not scared. Like, he was like, listen, I'm straight from the hood. I've been around dudes like this all my life, so I'm not scared at all. He was like, if dudes don't try me, I won't try them. So it was, you know, he was giving hood vibes. So I was like, oh, okay, where they find Officer Scott? Okay. And so we up in the booth, and my job is to teach him how to do it, not him just sit there watch me. He got to learn how to do this booth. So I was just telling him, like, this button goes from that slider, this button does this open the break room, this. And I'm teaching, and there's a button up there that you don't press because they open up everything. And you don't never want to do that. So it was like a note on the button, do not open, okay? So really don't get up here bored one day and open it, because you're going to have a mess. So I'm just going through. But as I'm sitting in the booth, he asking me questions. He was like, so how long you been here, shawty? I'm like, yeah, we not doing it, baby. Officer Baker, we not doing that. I'm nobody's shorty, okay? And he was like, my bad. I thought you was cool. I'm cool, but I'm not gonna be your shorty, baby. Officer Baker, he was like, so y'all really go by that shit? Y'all really go by that shit? Yes, that's our names. Do we go by officer whatever? He was like, so they gonna really be calling me Officer Scott? And I'm like, where you think you is? And I'm thinking in my head, like, who is this nigga? Who is this white nigga? Like, what's going on? Yeah, they gonna call you that. Ain't that what you think? Because he already had got him a name tag and it had Scott on it. And I said, yeah, they gonna really call you that. They gonna walk right up to you and call you, what's up, Officer Scott? They gonna call you that. Before the day's over, somebody gonna call you that. He was like, okay, straight. So he was like, well, tell me about the job. Like, what do I really need to know? What I need to watch out for? Like, he was really interested in stuff like that. He want to know about times, the way we move. And it was just, I won't picking up on shady, but I felt a little shady. I felt like I ain't never seen nobody new talk like him. Like, he was plotting and planning and stuff like that. But I asked all his questions. So, we were up in the booth for about 3 hours. Usually people do 2 hours, but we offered to do somebody else. We was up there 4 hours. We offered to do somebody else booth time because they just didn't like doing the booth. They didn't like sitting in one place. They was a person that always wanted to be moving around. So we did their booth. And then I think that's really good for a person that's new. That to be on the floor can be very stressful sometimes, just depending on what's going on. So I was happy that I could train him without what was going on. But it's also, you can also train somebody, like when they're in the booth, it's just not you open the doors. You also interacting with the inmates as well. So by the time we up there for 4 hours, the inmates come out. They call for the chow call because it's breakfast time. Breakfast time started around about, everybody got up about 6:15. The first breakfast call was about 6:30, depending on what unit they started on. But breakfast started real early, 6:30 in the morning, baby. If you want to eat chow, you got to get up, okay? So they'll come in there, the officer come in each pod and say, chow call. And each pod is 48 men, and we used to be loud. We used to be like, chow call. And, and the inmates will just come out, and when they come out or whatever, they'll come out. The ones that do, some people they don't get up there early, but breakfast is the best meal in the prison, so most people did get up. So they would have things like eggs, grits, stuff you eat. They ain't eating like weird stuff. They eating the regular stuff you eat, but some mornings be better. And to me, I feel like the plate was a little bit more healthier. You know what I'm saying? From what I seen, okay? And so most people got on up and got their little breakfast. Sometimes they serve cereal, milk, stuff like that. They had different things or whatever. And so the officers were going in there saying, child call. And so he was asking, what are they saying? Like, every time they would go in there and holler anything, that would tickle him. And he'd just be like, what is they saying, yo? I was like, they're saying child call, and you're gonna have to do it too. So get used to it. Just put your own spin to it, because some people yell loud, some people sit it low. You just got to put your own swag to it. He was like, I like how you talk. I'm like, okay. So I would just say different things, and sometimes he'll just interrupt me and just say, I like how you said that. I like how you said that, ma. I like how you said it. And I have to correct him like an inmate. My name is, I know, my bad, Officer Baker, my bad. And I'm thinking like, yeah, I'm going to tell Sarge that after the day, somebody else going to have to try and come on bop. I'm going to bebop him across the, what did y'all get this man? Y'all sure y'all didn't get him? He acting like one of them. So either way, after a while, he kind of grew on me because he was a cool dude. He just was real hood. Like, who brought this hood white boy here? Anyway, so I'm like, he gonna be all right. I think he gonna be all right. And so then when we get on the floor, like I said, we would have interaction with the inmates up there too, because they can press a button, and once you click the button, you can hear them talk to you. So they be talking junk. So I told them that I train him, or I train any man that work with me, to understand that my interaction with an inmate is going to be a different interaction than you have with an inmate, because a lot of the inmates, they are attracted to me. And not to saying that some inmates not be attracted to you, because some inmates like everything, okay? All right, they were paying sexual, anything with a heartbeat, they liked it. So either way, I could tell an inmate, what I was trying to say was, I could tell an inmate, shut the fuck up and get away from my box. And that's what we call the speaker when they were talking to us. But you might not could tell an inmate that, it's not safe. So some things that you see me doing, look at my baby that got up. Y'all, look at no. We got a special visitor. Say, hey, y'all. Let me get him back to sleep, y'all. Sorry for that mid-intermission. We didn't know we were going to have a special guest tonight. No, anyway, that's my little baby. I got 2 sons. But either way, let's jump back in the story. So, Officer Scott was a very interesting character, to say the least, or whatever. So I basically was telling him, my interaction with inmates cannot be your interaction. And then I said, Also, there's a thing, because you are white, there are certain things that you're not going to be able to say. He told me something, no, I'm good in hood. I'm good in hood. I know how to interact. I know how to interact with everybody. I'm real good with people. You gonna see. I'm like, okay, but I like to tell people that, because some people see me interact with people. I'm sorry, y'all. My oldest, y'all, that's why I don't be recording at the house, because it's too much. As a single mama, it be too much going on. I got one son at the football game, y'all. Mine, y'all, is about 9:40 at night, okay? The game ended about 9:30. Now he keep calling me about ride home. I told you, baby, don't stay over, because I ain't coming to get you, baby. Baby, auntie or mommy in the house at a certain time, baby. Baby, y'all, I threw this shirt on. Baby, I already took me a bath. Look, have y'all ever heard about that? You ain't going outside with my pores open, baby. Baby, you on baby, she was on your own, baby. Anyway, somebody gonna be like, you ain't gonna pick up your baby, girl. I told him, go pick it. Call your daddy. Now his daddy ain't answered the phone. He done said, my teacher's gonna take me home. His teacher in the background said, don't worry about it. I know he said you just got out the shower, but I heard y'all whole conversation. I'm gonna take him home. And she done took him home many times. But I told him and her, he might can't do your program, because listen, mommy be in the house before 8 o'clock. Okay? She be in the house before 8 o'clock. I'm not coming out there in the streets, baby. It ain't safe. Anyway, he's on his way home. He'll be busting up the door, and then you see me take another break. But anyway, get back in the store, bitch. Get back in the store. Yeah, we probably gonna go back in the car. We gonna have to go back in the car. I can focus in. Too much be going on in the house. But anyway, let's jump back in there. Like I said, Officer Scott, he was different. Anyway, so I try to brief people, like when I'm training them, like please don't try to copy what I do, because I've earned where I'm at. And plus, sometimes culturally, I can say things to them that you might can't say to them, because you're not a female and I'm a female and I'm black and most of them look like me. You know what I'm saying? So you can't. He was like, no, but I'm good. You gonna see, I know how to move. I definitely know how to move. I said, okay, whatever. So either way, our booth time is up. But in the process, they hitting the button and they said things. Baker, who the fuck you got out there with you? And they looking all up there in the booth. Baker, who the fuck you got in there with you? Oh, you got a white nigga up there with you. Who the fuck that white nigga? And then some of the inmates, for in their mind, you is theirs. I don't care how professional you be. They think that you is their woman in their head. They click that button. Who the fuck that white nigga sitting beside? Like, yeah, we home with him. You that white for something. Who the fuck that white nigga out there with? Nigga, you need to move the fuck on. You too close to Baker. You too motherfucking close to Baker. And I be like, take your ass to your daggone room. All right, Baker. And that's how they do. They'll click the thing, and usually when they clicking the button, they telling you what room they is, so you can pop their door so they can go back in, or they want you to pop the door because the door's stuck and they need you to pop it so they can close it. Like, but most of the time they hit that button and talk jump, and so you as an officer, most of us talk jump back. They hit the button and be like, Baker, what the fuck you got going on? Don't be changing that nigga to be no police neither. Let that nigga be whoever he gonna be. And I'm thinking like, this is a white man. Why y'all keep calling this man a nigga? He like, so I'm just gonna be that word all day. Yes. Yes. That's get used to the environment. If you gonna sign up to do this full time, everybody's that word here. So, I don't care what color you are. They're just gonna call you that. I've got used to it. You've got to get used to it too, okay? So they were just talking junk, hit the button. So after a while, he watched the interaction. He was like, you ain't scared of them? Like, now we just had this conversation at the beginning. Are you scared to be here? See, it's different than you seeing a couple of them, then you seeing all of them come out and they all clicking, and some of them is bigger 2 times. I'm 5'3". Some of them 6'9", straight muscle. Some of them look like if they take one fist, they can knock me out in 2 seconds. Like, they ain't some big dudes in there. And then there's some regular size dudes, but it's a lot of big dudes. So as they coming up, I don't care what size you is. I have that rapport with all of them. I've been there for 2 years now. I have the rapport with all of them. Some people that, you know, they're very respectful. Good evening, good morning, officer back there, come to the bar. Good morning, because a lot of the child molester was very nice, overly nice. You didn't even have to look them up. You already know. I know what he is. He too nice, like overly nice. They'll come in there. Good morning, Miss. They hit the little button. Good morning, Miss Baker. Can you open room B3? you look so beautiful this morning. Boy, go on about your business. And I would mean with everybody. You know what I'm saying? I'm just mean to everybody. Boy, go on about your business. That door open. Click. Okay, thank you. Click. And that was the demeanor that we as females had to have there. I won't mean and hateful or nothing like that, but I was real stern with how I responded to them, because unfortunately in the prison, if you were nice to an inmate, y'all, they fell in love. I'm talking about head over heel. You couldn't even be a little bit nice to them. You had to be just got a little sting to what you said, just a little sting, because if not, they're gonna be like, oh, she likes me. Like, literally, they were like that. Okay, so either way, he was like, Officer Scott was like, dang, you mean to bros, ain't you? Mean to bros. I'm like, they're gonna be mean to you. Watch when they come through and they be saying crazy stuff to you. You gonna be a little mean sometimes. But when I train somebody, just respect them. Like, I ain't never was going through tearing people down, talking about them. No, it wasn't that type of me. It would just be like, what the fuck you want? What you want, nigga? Like, I would just give back what they were giving, but I'd be like, what they doing? Because sometimes they just literally hit the button to mess with you. They ain't want nothing. I just want to say, your big ugly head is pretty, banker. Fuck you. And click the button and be like, fuck you. Every time they'll walk off pushing. Every time I turn around, try to get her big ass head a compliment, she trying to show out for that white nigga, getting on my motherfucking nerve. And that's just that typical inmate. Like, it just what it was. So either way, I didn't pay no mind. It just was regular. It was happening every day. I never paid no mind. Like, boy, please go on. I mean, either way, so he watched this interaction. I think as the dudes were getting bigger in size that were coming up talking and whatever, most of them, like, it just depend on how they came. If they came respectful, I was respectful. If they were mean, I was mean. I was meaner. Whatever you gave, I was. You know what I'm saying? If you were trying to be like extra smooth, I see you. Gone. I see you. Gone. What I tell you, and I always had a slogan. I don't need it. What I already know what you're gonna say, Baker. I don't need it. Try that on the next chick. Like, that's just, I always had some slogans, so I didn't have to keep repeating. I just kept saying the same slogan, so they already know. I already know. Because they knew what I was going to say. Get away from my box. Click. And sometimes I didn't even answer them, especially if they talking stupid. So anyway, our time was up, and then the next officer was coming up there. We had did 4 hours in the booth, and I said, when we go down, I want you to go to the bathroom if you want to, because that's where I'm going. You can't go in there with me. He was like, no, I'm good. I'm going to wait for you on the outside of the bathroom, whatever. I got to use the bathroom, whatever. So he goes to the bathroom. Then afterward, I came out there looking for him, because he said he was going to wait for me out there in the bathroom. I'm trying to hurry up, because I don't know if the inmate's gonna be in the hallway, somebody gonna bother him, because I remember being that new officer and they really picked with the new people. So I come outside, he ain't nowhere to be found, y'all. He done went to the start over in there, kicking it up, got a little feet propped up, told me something, man, I like it here. It's all right, man. It's all right. He was like, the dudes is kind of tough, man. He was like, you got some advice? I walk in. He was like, you got some advice for me or whatever? You got some advice for me? Because, babe, Baker tough, boy. Baker tough. And then the sergeant like, Baker hell, man. I don't know what she said. She said, I apologize now, but Baker is hell. And you going to see, watch when she take you through. Watch when she take you through. And what he talking about is when you walk through the pies. Watch, he said, for one, you're going to see the respect that these men have for her. You're going to see people come at, even though she's mean sometimes to the inmate, watch how they treat her, okay? Watch how they treat her. Watch how she the only one I can see that can walk through, talk to the inmates, give advice, and tell them to shut the fuck up in the same cities. So either way, I'm like, SARS, man, it ain't nothing to watch. We just gonna do our job. So he was like, have you took him on around? Yeah, I said, no, I had to use the bathroom. He was like, all right, well, you take him on around or whatever. He was like, you want me to round with you? I said, sorry, this is your word. I'm just living in it, baby. You do what you want to do. So he was like, all right, I'm gonna go on y'all first round with y'all or whatever. And I already briefed him. I was just telling him, like, if you go on this round, they gonna say crazy stuff to you, because you knew they want to test out your skin. If you tough, is you gonna quiver, is you gonna shake if they say crazy stuff to them. You got to show them you ain't scared, and if you is scared, don't show it, cause baby, they ain't gonna taunt you, okay? So we going in there, and this is a part where we kind of lose officers, because a lot of people, they just can't do it. It's very like, it's like willing and openly going into a lion's den when you go in the pods. Lions is everywhere, in every room. You don't know if they big, small, little. and a lot of them come out and roar. Okay, that's the best way. You can walk in a pod and come out alive, or you can walk in a pod and somebody decide, you know what, it's time for that person to die, and they can shake you to death. Okay, and you don't know what to shake, it means them taking a homemade knife and hitting your side a couple of times. You don't know what you're getting into, and it don't matter who you are, you can get it. Okay, just depend on if somebody of high ranking gave an order or what. So it's a life and death thing to walk in the pod. But I had just took on the attitude, if it's my time, it's my time. I already made peace with my family before I came in. I done made peace with my family, and I carried myself like that. I didn't let people talk junk to me, nor did I just blankly disrespect people, but I met them where they was at. Okay, either way. So I was like, well, we're going to do the walkthrough in the pod. I said, if somebody say something to you like, oh, to me, disrespectful, you need to speak up for yourself. Because if you do not speak up for yourself, I'm going to try to help you. But if you don't speak up for yourself, man, you're going to have a hard career. Okay? I ain't saying come in here and say nothing to get yourself beat up. But I'm telling you, okay, you need to speak up for yourself. They see you got a little heart, little balls or whatever, they won't really mess with you. But if they see that they can say anything crazy to you, then they gonna mess with you or whatever. So just weigh. You got to weigh out the options. Like me, you gonna see I'm not gonna respond to everything, because baby, they be saying crazy stuff all day. You can't respond to everything, and that's just like with life. You got to decide what you gonna entertain. Like, am I gonna entertain this person that's talking about me that ain't got nothing going on with life and ain't got nothing to lose, or am I gonna ignore and keep walking? But you got to weigh your options. But certain things, when they're ultimately trying to disrespect you, baby, you got it on sight. You got to go and handle that, because if you don't, everybody gonna try you. And that's what I learned about being in prison. I learned that sometimes some things you got to address on time, because respect is everything in the prison. If you got respect in the prison, you will not have a hard time, hard career, hard anything. But if you don't got respect, you might well quit. Either way, we walk in the pod. He been acting like he cool the whole time, but I could tell he kind of nervous because he look a little flushed in the face. So we walk in the pod. The first thing they do as soon as we open up the pod, and I took him to I called the easier pod. It was a Greenville, the A pod. A lot of older people's in there, but it was for a few young cats in there. I figured, like, let me start them off easy, because C pod and D pod was and F pod was the craziest pods to go in, because they would kill us in there. Okay, and honey, they talk that talk, honey, and they could definitely walk that walk. But I said, we're gonna start them off easy. We're gonna take them to the geriatric unit. Okay, so we go in the A pod or whatever. I already briefed them, you know what I'm saying? Too many ain't gonna say. It's a couple people in here that run their mouth, but if they snap back, you snap like a snapper turtle, baby. You don't let them give it up. So we go in and whatever, and there's a few people, there's some older people like, who you got there with you, Baker? Who you got there with you? I said, this is Officer Scott or whatever. And then a few people like, oh son, this your first day. They trying to carry him like he a little child. And I told him, don't tell people your age, because here people don't respect age. You go to tell somebody you 20 whatever, because Officer Scott was about 25 years old. You go tell them you 20 something, and these men is 68, 78, they're gonna little boy you. And you don't even if they ask your age, I'm old enough to know better not to tell you that, sir. Is there anything else I can help? You got to carry on like that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't discussed my age, but they knew I was young, because if I started a prison when I was 20 years old, by the time 2 years went by, 21, I'm 22, okay? I'm not that old, okay? I'm 22. Yeah, I'm 22. And I look probably 13. But either way, I was young looking, but at the same time, I ain't playing. And they knew it. So I'm walking, and for the most part, a lot of people is not bothering him. They either sleep, they doing their own thing, they playing games. Some people on the phone talking. Like when I say they got two phones in the front of the pod, they on the phone talking to whoever they talking to. We walking in, ain't nobody. A lot of people just watching the TV. Two TVs going with two different programs on it, and they ain't doing that. We walking through the pod, and I'm like, in my head, I hope don't nobody try him. But at the same time, some things I can help him with, some things I can't, because he got to stand on his own 2 feet. So if I feel like they being disrespectful, oh yeah, they know I'm finna get him. But if I feel like it's something as a man he got to handle, I'm gonna let him try to handle it, I guess, and give him advice. Because the only way I can train you is it got to happen. So we walking through, and then this big inmate, and he was a big He was a big inmate, okay? 250 pounds, nothing but muscle. His calf muscles big as my head, and they ain't nothing but solid muscle. He come out, we can call him Big Man, okay? Big Man came out, and I forgot about Big Man being in there, but anyway, Big Man was in there or whatever, and Big Man had just came back from the hold or whatever for fighting, okay? So he come back out, like I said, I forgot he was in there. I didn't even know he was on the unit or whatever. He come out big. Officer Scott like, and I'm thinking like, you messing up, bro. You messing up, bro. Don't look at it like you scared, you a scared child or whatever, but I ain't say nothing. And so like, he was like, dang, how tall is you? That's what he asked him. He was like, nigga, who the fuck are you coming here asking me shit? Who the fuck are you? I ain't never seen you in my life. He was like, I'm Officer Scott. And I'm like, in my head, y'all was about to tear up laughing at him. But he was so serious that he was dedicated to what he just said. He said, I'm Officer Scott. And I'm like, okay. So me and the inmate had the same interaction, and I'm sorry, but we laughed at him. Me and the inmate was like, we was like, I was just kind of like, is you on their side of mine? But I was like, I'm sorry, that was funny right there. I'm so sorry. We gonna take you serious. He was like, yeah, Baker, go ahead, keep training him, because he gonna need it, because baby, that ain't gonna work at E-Pod. You told him about it. That ain't gonna work at L-Pod, and that damn sure ain't gonna work at D-Pod. I said, we gonna work on, don't worry about it. He told me, bro, I ain't gonna mess with you, man. I'm about to go home next month. I ain't gonna mess with you. I'm big for nothing. That's what he'll tell him. I'm big for nothing. I fight inmates. I don't fight no officers or whatever. And he told me some Baker right there, I kill for it though. You better ask about it. And he was one of them ones that took on, I call it the mama syndrome, that with the women that are in there, that used to work in there, he will protect the woman. Like he was an inmate that if you call a female a bitch, he'll break your neck. He'll break your nose. He'll punch you in the mouth. He did not allow men to disrespect. He was raised, well, he'll tell you, I was raised by grandma, and grandma didn't play that. So he got in a lot of altercations because of the female officers that were there. Everybody knew it, and he was big enough to break things on you. So you did not disrespect women in his prison. He just didn't believe in that. And a lot of the officers really, really, really liked him, because we already knew, okay, what you say to me, that's all right. I'm gonna tell Big Man on you. Cause Big Man gonna get to you, honey. Big Man gonna catch you somewhere. He didn't play about the women. I don't know why he was like that. He never tried anything as far as trying to be in a relationship with people. But he told me for my first day I was there, my name Big Man. And that's why I think it was so funny, because, you know, it was funny because Officer Scott was trying to be tough. But when I first met Big Man, he did the same thing. My name is Big Man. And he was like, I believe in protecting the women. And he was in there because he beat up his mama boyfriend. Okay, he came to her house to check on her, and the man was beating his mama. So he broke the man's neck, and the man died. So he was in there for manslaughter, and he had 10 years. And he, like he said, he was about to get out. He had already did his time or whatever. But either way, Big Man didn't bother nobody. Like he'll tell you, I ain't no killer, but don't push me. That's the man pushed me. I came there, you beat my mama up on the put my hands on it. So I ain't breathing, break his neck, but he was smaller than me, so things happen. So, you know, we kind of treated Big Man a little different, because for the most part, like I said, he really protected the women in there. He did not play that, and everybody knew that. Even if he won't in the pod and he heard about you disrespecting a woman, oh, he on your neck about it. He was not playing. But he was just saying, look, Officer Scott, he was like, they got the right one training you, but you gonna have to work on that. That what you just did with me ain't gonna work in them other pods. Okay, if you don't know what to say, just don't say nothing at all. And so Big Man went back in his room, went on by his business. And for the most part, Big Man didn't bother nobody. And if you listen to him, you actually would have won, okay, in life, because he actually gave good advice, even though he was an inmate. He was one of them inmates that tell you something impactful and just walk off, okay? And that's what he did. He walked off, went in his room and shut the door, went to sleep. And so we walked out the pod. Like I said, nobody bothered him. We went to the next pod. Nobody really said too much. Then we walked around. I showed him, you look in each door, making sure you see a body, and if you don't. And then the problem we were running to is that they would have blinds up, meaning they would cover their windows. So if they cover their windows, they already know. I'm going to say, take it down, or I'm going to write it down. So he started saying it. And I'm thinking, like, as I told him, You got to build up to that. You can't come in trying to act like me, because what are you going to do once somebody challenge you? Because I know what to do, but do you know what to do? But he kept trying to imitate me because it was working for me. I had earned that respect. You got to get there. But either way, we walking through, and I knock on the door. Do, 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 do. Anytime I see a window cover, I'm going to knock on the door. Do, 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 do. Hey. They're like, who that? I'm like, that's Baker. All right, Baker, I'm about to take it down. They take it down. I keep walking. Get to another one. Do, 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 do. Who that? That's Baker. Baker, I got you, ma. Take it down. And it was just a respect thing. I never had too many problems. Every now and then somebody want to yap in the mouth. I ain't do too much of that yapping. I did that paperwork, baby. I'm not gonna yap at you. They don't paper. Y'all are professional fussers. You got it, baby. But I'm gonna write everything you say down at such and such time. Officer called, look, inmate such and such called me a big head, bald headed, ugly ass bitch. And he got, he called me this when I gave him a lawful order to take his such and such blind down. I corrected him and I asked him to refrain from such language. And baby, that not me doing a write up for y'all. Let me stop. But anyway, write that stuff down or whatever, and boom, you get through. They take the little $10. Each write up was $10. And now you saying that ain't that too much? They should act up enough. But it's a lot when your grandma only send you $30. You get 3 of them things, you ain't gonna have no money. They need that money, honey. So either way, they follow them orders for the most part. And you had a few people that didn't care because they won't get nothing. I don't give a fuck about that, all right? But eventually, you gonna have to pay that money back. Whatever you collect in there, you gonna have to pay that money back. So it all add up. So it's best just to follow the rules, okay? Either way, so he started doing, like, we were doing around, and he was like, well, so we can get out of the pies quicker, I'm gonna go to the top and I'm gonna do the rail. I said, oh, you feel comfortable? He was like, yeah, I'll do the rails by myself. So he was going, and he was going from room to room. Then he'll get the one that the blind is covered. I'm thinking he gonna skip it. No. Officer Scott said, do it. Hey, yo, remove your blind. You already know what time it is. And I'm thinking like, sir, this is your first day. You need to calm down, all the way down, for somebody to grab you in that room. Look, you too far up, you too high up for me to just, I'm gonna get up there. But baby, that's a process or whatever. Somebody be gonna snatch you in the room, put you up against the wall. What you gonna do? Baby, what you gonna do? Now, I ain't saying come there and be scared, but baby, not on your first day. You want to be chilled on your first day. Shoot, my first 4 months, I would chill. About 4, that's a lot. First 2 months, I would chill. Then about 2 months, I would chill. So either way, 3. So this man was trying to act like me, and I'm thinking like, you only been in the pod. This is the 3rd pod, baby. Baby, please don't act like me. Don't do that. I already knew it was gonna get this on. My son got home fast. Wait, son's on here. So let's keep going with the story. So we're going through pod to pod, and then we finally get to the first pod that I'm kind of worried about him going into, because there are more aggressive inmates in there. We go to the green unit, D pod. So we already went through C pod, and they kind of gave him a little harder time, kind of say, you're a white nigga a lot. So, and he kind of for the most part stood his ground, but D pod and F pod I was kind of worried about. So we go in D pod, and the inmates, they come, like if we coming in, it's like 6 inmates come up to us fast, and I'm thinking like, okay, what is going on? Because that's not normal behavior. Like if they're trying to kind of block us from walking in, I'm like, get the fuck out the way. And so they were like, Baker, who the fuck this with you right here? This Officer Scott. And I'm telling Scott, just keep walking, because you don't let nobody corner you. You don't let nobody corner you in real life. If you walking forward and somebody corner you, you move out of their way. You don't never let nobody corner you, because you don't know why they trying to corner. They get you in the corner, they can mess you up, baby. So I'll swerve through. And I always told him, when we're in the pod, do what I do. Don't do what I do as far as what I'm saying, but if you see me move, you move. Do not hesitate. If you see me run. There's a reason that I say. And one thing about it, I don't know if y'all got it, but women got intuition. Don't ask no questions. You move when I move. If you see me swerve to the left, you swerve to the left. Do not stand there. So as soon as I swerve, and when I tell y'all, Officer Scott was smart, y'all. I'm talking about, it was like we were dancing. When as soon as I went to the side and swerve, he come and swerve. He was right there, heel and heel, and you could tell this man was scared. I could tell that he was scared. And I was like, remember what I told you. and we walking, but I mumbled it for him. He was like, oh, you whispering into this. And so the inmate's like, oh, you whispering? What the fuck you whispering into this nigga? What you whispering? You Officer Scott and White. But what the fuck you whispering to this nigga for? I said, don't you worry about what I'm whispering to you. Get on out my way so I can do my round and get up out of here. And because I took on a persona of an older black woman, even though I was a young girl, I tried to have that channel in there because I feel like people respect older black women. I don't know why, but I just thought and I promise you that character that I played while I was in the pod really worked for me, y'all. But I tried to challenge that. But at the same time, I respected the men for the most part. But baby, them men was dangerous, and I knew they were dangerous, and I was scared that I wasn't scared for me to be honest, but I was scared he's gonna say the wrong thing to trigger something, and then we're gonna be in World War III, and it's just me and him. Okay, so the sergeant had already told me when you gonna go to D and F pod, cause I told y'all that were the bad pods. Really C, D, and F were the bad pods. Let him know, cause he too was worried about him going in there. Okay, he's a white male. Most of them are black. They don't like him. They don't like the policemen. They don't like the police at all, even including me, cause I'm the police. But they really don't like him cause he a white man. So that's what it was. So we go in there, and I said, we walking or whatever, and I noticed that when we was in that pod, he did not offer to go up. He did not offer to go up and do that round by himself. He stood side by side. If I walk. If I stop, he stopped. Whatever he was doing, and I said, just pay attention, look and watch your surroundings. Watch your surroundings. Just pay attention. You're gonna be all right. So I'm going pod for pod. I'm going looking in the rooms and stuff like that. I'm still got the same commitment. I don't change up because I'm in one pod. I treat one person this way. I do one pod. No, I'm still doing the same thing. I don't care how dangerous they are, what they got going on. My job is to protect and make sure everybody is okay. When you're doing your round, you're checking for life. You're making sure that everybody is breathing, okay? Ain't nobody in there stabbing each other, whatever. So when I go around, there's a blind up, knock, knock, knock. I bang on the door, do, 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 do. They're like, who that? I'll say, that's Baker. All right, Baker, I got you. And they'll snatch the blind down because they already know, if I don't care who you are, what's your rank or whatever, I'm finna write you up because you already know. I'm not playing. I'm not going for that. So they'll take it down. Baker, don't come in with that bullshit. Like everybody just screaming out something. Baker, who the fuck you got with you? Who that nigga you got with you? That nigga ain't gonna stay here more than 2 months. We gonna run that nigga off. You need to move the fuck over, nigga. Why you so close to Baker? The fuck? Like, they were just yelling out everything. Who the fuck is nigga? Where you from, nigga? And stuff like that. And I always tell them, don't tell them nothing personal about you. You know what I'm saying? Don't tell them nothing personal about you. I don't care what they yell at, how scary they look or whatever. Don't tell them nothing personal because they can use that later for whatever they gonna use it for. And when they yelling all this stuff out, you could tell he started getting nervous because his cheeks are starting to be flesh red or whatever. And I'm thinking, like, I hope he holds his poise, because he been holding his poise when somebody directly walked up. So another dude walked up like he was going to go towards him or whatever. I said, hey, what you doing, bruh? You need to back up. You doing too much. Like, don't come in here and show out. You're not cute. Back up. And so he was like, oh, you got this white nigga back. I see you got this white nigga back. He was like, I'm not going to let you run up on nobody. Like, you need to go ahead. Oh, we just checking for his sharpness, Baker. Making sure this nigga can hang. This nigga said he want to be an officer, right? We're going to break him in early. And they just said crazy stuff. Like, yeah, we going to break this nigga in early. You ain't going to do shit. Go to your room. And so we going around. We finally get out the pod. He said, whew, I need to go to the bathroom. I need to go to the bathroom. He was like, can we do F pod next? Because if you said these are the worst pies, I want to go here to get these pies over with. I said, yeah. So he goes to the bathroom. After he get out the bathroom, I thought he was going to come back. I thought he going to go in there and be like, look, I don't do this no more. So we go in F pod. And I think he wanted to go in there pumping stuff up like, yeah, let's go. So when he come out, he talking about, come on, let's go. I'm like, okay. So we go in the pod. As soon as we get there, it's a lot of noise going on. And they playing games. They playing dominoes. They snapping stuff on the table. Yeah, nigga, boom. And they watching TV. It's a lot going on. It's a whole bunch of chatter. You got some people in there doing exercise in the back of the pod. It's a lot. So it's somebody on the phone arguing with their baby mama. Yo, bitch, you got me fucked up. You better have them niggas around my kids. And you can hear them just... It's a lot going on. And for anybody, that can overstimulate you, okay? That really can overstimulate you. But he had already been into the other pies, so he kind of had got, I guess, used to it. But you can still, he's still on his points. Like, what we gonna do? So Sarge came and stood at the door because, like I said, Elf was the worst pod, okay? It was the most dangerous pod. And so he all of a sudden appeared, and I was so happy because I'm like, for him, like, if I can win in the pod, y'all, it would take me probably about maybe 10 minutes to walk up and down and stuff, because somebody gonna stop you and ask you for something, like some fuzz, something. Baby, we need some tissue in here, we need some, because they can used to get like little Tylenol and stuff for them or whatever, ibuprofen or whatever. We need some ibuprofen, I need some envelopes, like always begging that nigga. Anyway, so I'm like, all right, I got you, whatever, and I keep on doing my round, then I go. So I'm like, when I get out there in the circle, and that's where the officers see or whatever, come out there and get it, and it be like, okay, big. So either way, it didn't take me that long because I'm not nothing new, baby. They used to me. I've been here for 2 years. They gonna spit that little, someone gonna spit that little game, say that little word, you be like, boy, gone. And they're gone about the business. But some people like really got something going on. Look, I ain't heard from my mama for a while. Can you get them to call my case manager so she can call my mama for it? Stuff like that or whatever. So we walk in, we doing our rounds or whatever. Sarge was like, walk with me, Scott. So they go up top and walk or whatever. Inmates don't care who you with, they still gonna try you, okay? So he walking. I hear who the fuck, this big dude. Now he was high rank, he was one of the high ranking Crips. He came out the room, I'm thinking like, ooh, this ain't gonna be good. So he come out, right, and for the most part the Crips were chill, but the Bloods was the one that was always doing something. God know the Bloods was busy in bar and correctional. But either way, he came out like, so who the fuck you got with you right here? Who the fuck you got here with you? And he was like, I'm Officer Scott. Scott spoke up for himself. He was like, I'm Officer Scott. Who are you? And I was like, okay. He went to that bathroom and got some boys by himself. You feel me? Because I'm like, that came out smooth. It wasn't no shaking to his voice. I liked it there. I was like, okay, I hear you. He was like, yeah, I like that. Yeah, Nikki, yeah, I like that. He was like, yeah, because usually niggas come up here and be scared and shit. Like, we ain't men just like them. Like, don't let these motherfuckers, and he's talking to everybody, don't let these motherfuckers scare you. These men just like you. Don't let them shake you or whatever. Don't let this shit bother you or whatever, man. These men just like men out there at Food Line or whatever. He was like, yeah, I like him, officer. I like him or whatever. So after a while, whatever, we come out the pie, it won't nothing. That people just hollering random stuff or whatever. And so after that, we gonna fast forward, months went by. Let's say about 8 months went by. Oh, Officer Scott got his swag. He done cussed out a few inmates. People know he ain't fit to play. He gonna stand his ground. He done been in fights, you know what I'm saying? As well as like, if we had to take somebody down, he done been a part of takedown. He get his feet wet. You know, he in there. Everybody looking at him like, Baker, you train him good. Like, you really train him good. Like, he's a good officer. So, let's say another 8 months done been by, okay? Everything good. He by himself now, y'all. He don't need nobody to hold his hand. Like, you call him if you need some help now. Like, he really, really, really that dude. And I noticed, you know what I'm saying, that he talking with all the inmates respecting him. But I'm just like, okay, it's something going on with him, but I ain't quite picked it up. So I noticed that, you know, he'll be like, Becca, if you want something out the canteen, you can go get some money out my pocket. And I'm thinking like, why would I be getting money out your pocket? He was like, you can get some money out my pocket and you can go get something from the canteen where you can put something on your canteen card. And he used to always have a whole bunch of money on him, okay? Now, remember I called this storyline The Plug, okay? And so he used to always, after he had been there for so long, he used to always, I noticed he would always have money on his way. He was like, look, because you ain't have nothing on last time, because sometimes we would use each other canteen cards to go get something to drink, because a canteen, if you're not sure what it is, it's like the corner store, okay, but it's inside a prison or whatever. And he be like, last time I used your card, you ain't have but $1.50. Man, go in there and get about $30 on my own coat. So I go in his coat pocket. He got a whole bunch of change. I'm talking about a whole bunch of change. I don't know why he got all the change, but he got a whole bunch of change in one pocket, and then in his other pocket he got all this money. Like, y'all, it looked like it was probably about $2,000-$3,000. And I'm thinking like, why do he need all this money to come into prison? And clearly he did not come through, because if they saw all this money, they would question it. So I didn't forget it. So this went on days from days. He was like, Baker, you got something on your canteen? And randomly he would ask me, did I have something on my canteen card? And I'd be like, no, I think I got like $10. Baker, go in there and get about $50 and put it on your canteen card. I'm like, why am I putting this money on my canteen card? He was like, because ain't nothing to it. And he was doing this to everybody. Like, hey, go get about $40 off of the. It was like he was trying to get rid of the money he had in his pocket. I don't know what was going on. So I'm thinking like, okay, that's weird. We know that, clock that, but I don't know what's got going on. And like I said, no inmates is giving him issues. He ain't having no issues with no inmates or nothing, okay? So for the most part, I'm like, okay, he did good. He earned his respect. Nobody really bothered him. But I still thought it was weird. So either way, let's say a couple more months went by, okay? I'm starting to look at his movement. You know what I'm saying? I'm really starting to look at his movement. And I'm paying attention to some things, because if you watch one of my story times, I said my baby daddy is a drug lord. If you go back and watch that, I'm noticing some things that I noticed when I was younger. And I'm noticing a little slide across, or I'm noticing things being thrown in rooms. I'm noticing that inmates are kind of close to him when he talks. I'm knowing the interactions that don't normally happen with me and the inmate. So I'm watching him. I'm like, nah, like, not the one I trained. What he got going on? And I'm still noticing stuff. And I'm watching movements. And I'm thinking like, what's going on with bro? Something going on with them. They too cool with them. Anytime you go in a pie, you can tell what type of officer that person is. Like, if you go in a pie, they be like, the police in here, FBI, because that's what I was hearing. But when I come in there, they be like, who that? Oh, Officer Scott. Scott, come here, let me talk to you. Like, it was always dead. Any pie we go to, Scott, come here for a second. Like, it'd be like 30 dudes calling for him to come here. And I'm thinking like, that's weird. I don't know what's going on, but that's weird, okay? So then one time, when Officer Scott first started, he had like an old truck he had. It was just real old looking, okay? Then after he had been there for so long, he pulled up one day with a new Mercedes Benz. Pulled up, that thing was nice. Black, I'm talking about, had little rims on it, wasn't too much on it, but it was really nice. Everybody made a big deal about it, because when he pulled up, it was real smooth. He had the seat laid back. He was pulling up real slow. You know what I'm saying? Looking like a drug lord. I'm thinking like, okay, on our salary, I know that just came out this year. So what's going on? And so maybe he got a part-time job. I don't know, because I'm like, his wife don't work, because I knew he said he was married, but I thought you said she wasn't working. She just had your baby, okay? Because Officer Scott had just had a baby. The baby had to be like three months. His wife was a school teacher, but she retired at what he said. He retired her and sent her on. I'm thinking like, on this salary, how you do that? And he was like, I retired at my other job, but never told somebody what that job was. So either way, I'm thinking like, yeah, this ain't adding up 2 + 2. So how you get that car? Because your salary can't get that car. Unless you got that good credit, because you is white, baby, because you got that good credit. He be like, yeah, I got that good credit. I was like, okay, 700. Okay then. So either way, I'm thinking like, So that's another thing that made me be like, okay. So now I'm really watching stuff. So now that's the car. Then one day he came to work with a real nice watch on. And this watch did not look cheap, and they got a lot of people attention. Now, it wasn't no Rollie, but I don't know what it was. But whatever it was a very expensive watch. And it had everybody talking. You know, he got a such and such on. And I don't know what it was. But then when I went home and looked it up, because I'm nosy, the watch was $10,000. And I'm thinking like, why would you wear that to prison? Like, why would you wear it? I ain't saying when the inmate go say, yeah, I got your ass. But why would you wear that? Like, why would you wear that? What you trying to prove? So then, like I said, Officer Scott had these big, all of a sudden he came and he had the little studs, and then now he got big studs in it, okay? Okay, and then we noticed that he had chains on when he would come to work. He would tuck them. But it's giving music videos. Sir, what is going on with you? It was just something about him. We noticing a lot changing about him. Not only do he got the nice watch, now he got bracelets and massive necklaces. Now he got a little pinky ring. Like, why should you come to work like that, baby? Who you trying to look good for? Like, ain't you married? Like, what's going on? Like, we won't understand, but we will begin to watch. Like, as the months was going by, something going on with Officer Scott. I don't know what's going on with him. So one day, the sergeant pulled me in the office like, hey, Baker, what's going on with Officer Scott? You been noticing he be coming to work kind of flossed out? Like, what's going on? He got the new whip. What's going on? He just posted on social media because I won't Officer Scott friend on social media, but he was like, he just got a brand new house that's $500,000. I said, what? Oh, his credit real good. He was like, I don't know about that. So whispers started going on. See, because he was friendly people. See, me, I had a policy that if you work with me, I ain't accept your friend request, okay? I just didn't do it, okay? I didn't do it when it come to prison because them officers was messy off clock and I ain't want no parts of it. So I was like, what's really going on? Like, something is going on. So the officer, not the officer, but the sergeant pulled me in the office and said, hey, yo, what's wrong with your boy? And I'm like, what's going on? So he's telling me about the house and we done seen the car. He got the little iced out ring. What's going on? I said, I don't know. And they trying to figure out because we were real cool. Like, if he didn't have a wife, you would think I was, because we were always together. Like, he come in to work, tell me about his day. And I think we were so cool and close because of the fact, but he wouldn't tell me what he was got going on. He just would laugh. He would just laugh. Like, I'll be asking, like, where you get all this stuff from? Because you iced out. When you first came here, your earrings was about this little. Okay, so what's going on? Like, you causing a lot of attention to yourself, whatever you doing. He's telling me, nah, I'm just living like I'm supposed to. And I'm thinking like, all right, I told him, if you doing something you ain't got no business doing, you might want to stop, bro, because they're gonna find out. Like, I don't know what you got going on, but you just had your baby now. So that's kind of what I use. Like, you just had your baby and I don't want you to get caught up in no mess and you be one of these mugs in here. And so he was like, nah, it ain't that. Everything legit, baby. And I'm thinking like, well, I tell you about that. He was like, my bad. Because I ain't played it. Because if you work with me long enough, I'm going to hit you across the head. Like, baby, what? Don't call me that. Like, come on now. I know you hit somebody. Like, don't do that. So I try to get to the bottom of it because my sergeant was asking me. And then after a while, once you under investigation, they finna start pulling people. So lo and behold, we in the it's a brand new day. We come in there or whatever. At the lineup, they was like, Becky, instead of going to the unit, you need to go report to the warden's office. I'm like, what's going on? He was like, yeah, we just need you to fill out some paperwork for this or whatever about the incident that happened on such and such. They just came up with some kind of date and I ain't know what they were talking about, but I already knew that was code talk for something. So I'm like, yeah, okay, all right. But I'm like, what? But either way, I come in the office and it was like, have a seat, Officer Baker, whatever. He was like, you're not in no trouble, whatever, but we're doing an investigation on Officer Scott. I said, what's Scott? What's going on with Scott? He was like, we're trying to figure out why he got all this new stuff and he got such and such salary. According to our calculate and what we paying him, they got all this man paperwork on the desk about what this man made. This man only making $1,800 a month. There's no way he can afford the brand new car that he got, the house he just posted online, the rims he got, and the watches, because these 10K watches, he's switching them up. He got different colors on it. So, of course, because they see me looking like we close, because every time you see me, you see him. If you don't see me, you always see us together, even when he's not even working. Like, sometimes they'll give him different assignments so he don't have to be around. He always places himself around me, and I think it's because I train him. Other than that, I was just cool. I don't know. But either way, they was like, we see you with him a lot or whatever. Even like when it's time to walk out, he always walk beside me. We always talk, because he was a real cool dude, like real laid back, chill, whatever. He was just cool. Like, I can't explain it. He was just a real cool dude. But whatever he was doing, baby, I ain't know nothing about it. I asked him, he wouldn't tell me neither. So when they asked me these questions, I'm like, well, maybe he's a vesting or he did something else. I said, when I asked him about it, he said his credit was good. So he was just living like he was supposed to be living. He was like, it don't matter if his credit are good or not, but he's getting too many items. You know what I'm saying? If your credit good, you'll get approved for something and it'll be a payment plan for just that watch alone, but he getting too much. So he was like, they asked me, have I noticed any strange behavior? Have I noticed anything? And so I just told him that sometimes he has a lot of money on him. And, I kind of felt bad because I didn't want him to get fired because he just had that baby. You know what I'm saying? But I did want him to stop whatever he was doing because I knew it was going to get him in trouble, whatever he was doing. And I didn't want him to get locked up because when it came to money and stuff like that, oh, you finna get locked up, baby. If you in here, you the plug for real, they finna lock you up, okay? They gonna let you do whatever you do, and then they gonna catch you, and then they gonna have them cuffs waiting for you to do it. And I ain't want that for him. So after that, I decided, you know, I'm gonna just go and tell him. Like, they told me, like, you know, you can't talk about this or whatever and stuff like that. I said, but they gonna already know. They gonna already figure. So I get back to the unit. Everybody questioned me, like, what they want. I was like, they just want to know about incident. And I made up, well, it wasn't a made-up incident. The incident really happened. It was 2 inmates that got in a fight and they stabbed each other. And I said that I didn't write my report. But, you know, some people knew I was lying because they saw me write my report. But I was like, they wanted me to rewrite my report. So either way, I just didn't want to discuss it because I just knew he was under investigation. So when he came back, I told him the same speech. He was like, girl, I know they was up there talking about me. Them, look, he was like, them dudes is hating. You know what I'm saying? They hating. They man, I pull up with the new, okay? I got the new on that. I got the new on. Boy, they hating, man. I just put my shorty. He was like, I just put her in the new crib. They hating, man. They wish they could do that, whatever. He was like, as soon as they come get me, I'm going to tell them the same thing. I got good credit. I said, I hope it worked for you, sir. I hope it worked for you. I was like, okay. But he was getting real cocky. He getting real cocky. So then one day, so this went, let's say they asked me the questions or whatever. They done pull him off the unit, asked him a couple questions. They let him come back on the unit because they want to watch him. Because he went over there and told them the same thing. His credit A1 and he can get approved for anything or whatever. Then he was like, if you want me to show you, I can show you what I did to get my credit together. He was real cocky, y'all, with it. He was real cocky with it. So I remember it being November because I was getting excited because my birthday, November 24th, like it was getting close to my birthday. So he was like, Becky, you know I got you right for your birthday. I said, what you gonna get me? He told me some money. I said, well, how much you gonna want me? He's talking about how much you want. I'm like, oh, you bragging like that? He was like, yeah. What you want? So I'm like, I want $400. Thinking he gonna be like, Becky, you ain't my wife or whatever. He was like, I got you, sis. And he used to call me sis. He was like, I got you, sis. That was the only thing other than Officer Baker I let him call me. So he was like, I got you, sis. So he was like, at the end of the shift, I'm gonna slide you bread. And I was like, okay. So we walking out. I ain't thinking nothing about it. It get to the end of the shift, I done forgot all about it. So when we about to go to the car or whatever, he slid me the bread. So I'm thinking like, what is this? So he was like, when you get to the car, open it up. So y'all, when I get to the car, it's $800. And then he wrote me a note on the inside of it. He was like, look, I know that you ain't got nothing to do with what I'm going on, but you work too hard at office to live like you live. I'm thinking like, live like I live. I live in a beautiful townhome. I got 3 cars. Baby, what you talking about? I got 2 paid for, 1 I'm working on. Like, what are you talking about? I'm okay? So, what are you talking about? The kids fed, the cabin's full. What are you talking about? I'm all right. So the young man was like, nah, and you know what I'm saying? I'm looking at the note and was like, what? So I said $400. Why is that 8 in here? I'm confused, baby. What's going on? And he was like, when I came back to work the next day, I'm like, bruh, here the envelope back. So y'all, as soon as I got there, I done slid the envelope back to him. Like, bro, I'm good. I don't want it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want the money because I ain't want none of it because it was just the way it went. The note just made it just weird. I'm like, I gave it back to him. I'm like, nah, I'm good on it. I was just playing with you, right? So I get the money back. Y'all, as soon as I walk into the unit, Officer Baker report to the warden office. I get to the warden office. They pull up the camera footage of us in the parking lot and he slid me an envelope. He said, Baker, you been a good officer all this long. I know you're not doing nothing you ain't got no business doing. What is this envelope business? And I explained to them. He asked me what I want for my birthday. I had to show them my ID, y'all. My ID for real, and I've been with y'all for how long? And y'all think I'm gonna take me a lot of every time they question about something, I feel like they gonna try to put me on that lot of technical tests because I ain't finna go through this. I ain't got no reason to lie. They know. They were like, Becca, we know. I said, no, get them people up in here. Let's take the lie to that because I ain't finna lie to you about nothing. It was my birthday. He asked me what I want. I said $400, and then he slid me that, and I slid it back to him as you saw this morning because y'all show him because they showed me the footage. You slid this back that? What is this right here? So they think I'm move away. I ain't nobody move. He was like, Becca, sure you ain't? I said, no, he gave me too much. He gave me $800. They was like, how much? And they writing it down. He gave me $800. And he could just give you $800 and his salary, he would get $1,800. No, this ain't right. This ain't right. This ain't right. So the next day they locked down the whole prison, and the PERT team came in. And the PERT team is, you can think about the PERT team is like the military for the prison. And they come in and they'll search and look through everything. They search everybody. They even search the staff. And so PERT team came in there and they going through people's cars outside. They're going through all the staff belonging. They going through everything. They checking. And lo and behold, what do they find on Officer Scott? They found $1,500 on Officer Scott's in his bag or whatever. And so they bring him to the front and they ask him, like, where did this money, why do you have this much money? Because there was a certain amount of money we couldn't have more than $500 on us, on our person at a time. And he had 15. And so they was like, where this money? Because when you came through, you didn't have this money. He was like, yeah, I did. I just had it in my top pocket. He was like, I always keep bread on me. You know what I'm saying? Like, he telling them, I always keep bread on me. And so when he came back to the unit, he kind of told us that. So it was like, okay. And they kind of let him go. And then he told me what's happening. I said, you know they watching you, right? He's like, I don't give a fuck about them watching me. They mad, they ain't me. He was real cocky. And so what ended up happening was they watched him, y'all. They let like several months go by. They watched him. They finally caught him on camera, and then they ran down, meaning they ran in the inmate's room to see what he gave them. They caught him on camera giving an inmate an envelope, the same envelope he gave me. He gave this inmate. It was a white envelope, kind of like a bank, like envelope, like little narrow, skinny envelope. They caught him on camera giving this inmate this. And so when they ran down, because as soon as they saw it, they put a team together and they ran in. And so when it's like 6, 7 officers, some captains, some lieutenants, they ran in. That's ran past us off the unit. They didn't call no code or nothing. Ran in, boom. They went out, knocked the inmate on the bed. Boom, take the envelope, open it. It got weed, it got cocaine, it got everything stuffed in this envelope, baby. Do you hear me? Okay. I'm like, what in the world? That envelope had what you call them? It had Molly in it. It had something else. It was like 6 things of drugs in this envelope. Okay, it was Molly. It was something else too in there. It was some crack in there, like balls of crack was in there as well. It was a lot in the envelope. Okay, and it was a lot for the envelope to be a small size. It was a lot in the envelope. So anyway, they was like, who gave you that? And so the inmate was riding. He was like, I'm not fucking telling you to do your motherfucking job. I ain't telling you. They was like, put your hand behind the back. So they put their hand behind the back, took him to the hole, whatever. And so they told Officer Scott, go to the warden's office or whatever. And he was like, all right. And then this man, when I tell y'all he was cocky, he went and dapped up all the officers, y'all. It's been nice or whatever. I'm out this motherfucker. I don't need this shit no more. And I'm thinking, like, I don't need this shit no more. Like, when I first met him, he was real poor. He was kind of cool, laid back, whatever. But he really was walking around like, yeah. Real cocky, and whatever. So he was like, Officer Becker, I probably don't never see you again after this. Can I give you a hug? He was like, thank you for training me. He was like, you just don't even know. So then he gave me a hug, and I hugged him because I knew something was going on, but I didn't know at the time everything that was going on because he wouldn't tell me. Because I had tried to pull him aside. I tried to talk to him about what was going on. Please don't do this. I don't want you to get in trouble. I kept bringing up the baby that he just had. He was like, I'm making sure my baby's straight. Even if something happened, my baby gonna be straight. I was like, okay. So either way, they take him off the unit. He go, and I noticed that when we get off, he's still there. So we get off at about 6:30. We walking out. I know he's still there because his car is still there. So we go ahead and leave. And I'm like, dang, what's going on? Either that or they done locked him up. We don't know what happened. So we're off for the next couple of days or whatever. And then let's say this happened on a Thursday and we're off that weekend. We off Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So on Sunday I get an inbox. I get an inbox on whatever your inbox sound mate. I can't remember. But anyway, inbox go off, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, what's going on? So it's a message from Officer Scott, and I'm thinking like, dad, he done found my page because I won't go on by Officer Baker. So I'm like, dad, I gotta change my name again. Because anytime somebody found me on social media, I would change my name so won't nobody else find me. So either way, he inboxed me. He was like, yo. So it was like YOOOO spelled out. And I'm like, what it do? I put what it do because I'm off the clock. I am not no Officer Baker. I don't know who that is. Either way, I'm like, what did it do? Like, what's going on? What happened? Whatever. He was like, man, you want the truth or you want the lie? I like, tell me the truth, baby. What's going on? He was like, man, they finally caught my ass, boy. He was like, Baker, I was the motherfucking plug. I said, the plug? He said, hell yeah. I started working in that motherfucker for that running. And everybody told me, man, I've been a drug dealer for a long time. Everybody said, if you want to make some bread, go inside a prison, man. All you got to do is learn who is who work, whatever. He was like, that prison is so motherfucking dirty. These motherfuckers was so mad. You know why they was mad? Because they didn't have a cut in it. Not because I was doing it. A lot of them were mad because I had a cut. He was like, watch your back, yo, because a whole bunch of whatever, a whole bunch of people is dirty in that mud. And so he was just telling me, he was like, yeah, he was telling me everything, like what he was selling, when he started. So y'all, if he, let's say he started on the 10th, by the 20th, he was already selling drugs in the prison. 20 days after he started, he was already selling drugs, okay, and had been selling drugs for months. He worked with us for almost 2.5 years, so he was stacking bread this whole time. Like, he done paid. He said, when my first month, I paid off all my college loans. My second, he said, I made so much money in the. He said, my salary, I was making it in 2 days. He was like, them inmates got a whole bunch of money. All of them, and they were getting out. Some people was getting their family members to cash out me money. I don't care how to get it. I would tell them how much everything was, and they were running it. He didn't just sell to one. He sold to over 400 different inmates. Okay, so that's why they couldn't catch him. Like, they were looking for him to go to one inmate every time. No, you ain't gonna catch him going to one inmate because he was supplying the whole, even other units. He was going to other units. It wasn't just our unit. And he was supplying the whole prison, okay? And so he was making so much money. He was like, yeah, I was making our salary, like our whole salary you work for in 1 day, 3 days, and whatever. He told me I had so much bread, I didn't even know where to put it at, okay? And he was like, I said, why are you telling me all this stuff in the inbox? Because he was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm not even in. He was like, I'm not even in North Carolina no more. He said, I'm overseas. There ain't shit they can do to me. And I'm like, what they said they gonna do? They said I had two options. I can even quit, or they can do an investigation and fire me. And if they can do the investigation, if they do the investigation, they were gonna charge him with everything that they found in their envelope. So of course he said, I quit. And he was like, oh, the warden were real cocky. Take off that uniform, because you ain't even worthy of that uniform. I don't give a fuck. I was like, you ain't tell the warden you give a fuck. He said, no, I ain't give a fuck. His broke ass. It was like, I made his salary in 2 days. I said, dang. And I asked you for $400? He said, bro, I tried to give you, like, bro, sis, I tried to give you $800. He told me, no, but for real, do you need anything? I'm like, man, I can't take nothing from you, because if I take something for you, they would. He was like, what's your cash out? And I'm like, I'm not telling you my cash out. He said, well, when I find your cash out, I'm going to send you something. Because he was like, you would never tell nobody, but I looked through your page and I see you got a son or whatever. He was like, I'm going to send you some bread. You ain't got to come from me. You ain't going to have no ties to me or whatever, but I'm going to get somebody to send you some bread and you better spend it. And I was like, bruh, don't send me nothing. Don't send me nothing, because I don't want them to say it. And then they try to put it all on me. He was like, oh, look my son made. You made me a spongy. Is this a spongy? I don't know what this is. I like this down. Anyway, I got this straight to y'all. I like it. Good job. So, either way, I was scared to take anything from him, because, honey, you making a lot of bread. I don't know who gonna look for you. I don't know if they're gonna come look for me if you give me something. So I'm like, nah, I'm good. Don't give me nothing. I'm good. So the next day when I came back to work, well, yeah, because he hit me up on a Sunday. We came back to work. And I didn't go back to the unit. They had me in the office and they told me everything. Like, they went over everything. They also went and looked at the cameras to make sure we won't. Because the whole theory is they thought that I trained him to do the stuff he was doing, but once they actually did an investigation, they did a whole investigation within 3 days, really 4 days. And because they started an investigation, what they found out is that I didn't have nothing to do with anything, and they were just clearing my name and letting me know that I was no longer on investigation. And an investigation for what? And it was like, yeah. And he looking at the other people that's in there, the lieutenant's like, yeah, they thought you were the plug too. Me the plug? Me the plug? Like, yeah, we thought you was the plug too. I'm like, no, I'm not no plug too. He's like, we seen that he was doing this before. We actually digged in his background, and and found out he already was a drug dealer prior to him coming in here. He came in here to do that. I said, yeah, I know that he hit me up on social media or whatever. So they wanted me to screenshot our conversation. I did. And I let them know that he offered me some money, and they saw all of it. I screenshot everything and I gave it to him or whatever. And it was like, well, the warden was like, why you didn't take the money? He didn't offer you money for nothing. He just was gonna give you some money. Why you didn't take the money? I'm like, because I don't want no part. Girl, you should have took that money. And he told me this after everybody got out. Girl, you should take that daggone money, cause who gonna know about it? So I'm like, nah, I'm good on that. I don't want no parts of it, whatever. But then in lineup, the following day, when you in lineup and something happens like that, they just brief you. So it's gonna be a whole bunch of whispering and stuff going on, but they want to clear the air what happened. So they basically told after, doing it, because everybody want to know. They seen, him get called to boarding off and he didn't come back. He said bye to everybody. So what's going on? So they told about how they had been watching him, and they went all the way back, and they said that basically he was a drug dealer, but he was known not in North Carolina, but he was known in Detroit. And I'm thinking like, well, he kind of sound like us, but he did have a little twang to his throat. He was known in Detroit for being one of the most infamous drug dealers. Like, he was a drug dealer, and he came here to North Carolina, for whatever reason. Him and his wife came here from North Carolina. He met his wife, and she was in North Carolina, so she wanted to be closer to home, whatever. So he got a job, okay? And I don't know if the plan was originally coming here like that, but he came in like that, and he did what he knew what to do or whatever. And so they was like, do not treat Officer Baker any different. She didn't have anything to do with it. She didn't know, we didn't know, or we wouldn't hire her or whatever. And they told us how cocky he was. He told them that he made $3 million since he been there. I said, what? You say you made $3 million? Everybody like, he made $300 with he broke it. Always big in it. What? All of a sudden they got some money up, and he was selling what? And they went through to say what he was selling K2. He was selling marijuana. He was selling that girl. He was selling that white. He was selling that boy. He was selling everything. He was selling that heroin, that H, whatever you want to call it. He had it, okay? He had ecstasy. Look, I done messed up the name. Y'all know what I'm talking about, honey. He had a little bit of everything, honey. Whatever they want, he was getting it. And I'm thinking, how he get that stuff in there? And it was like they could not figure that out. But they knew that it was more cricket officers in there, because there's no way he did everything by himself. But anyway, they let us know and warned us, if you were working with him, we gonna find out who you are. So you might well quit now, because when we find out who you are, you're going down. You're going down. But like I said, he was telling me that, he basically told us, kind of emphasized what Officer Scott was telling me, was like, yeah, he was like, we stripped him down before he came out. We made him take him out. He walked out with nothing. He walked out with some inmate pants on and a white beater that was his. We took him, I bashed off of him, and I'm thinking like, that man do not care. Y'all in here just, do you think that man care? That man was in my inbox laughing, and then he was sending me a whole bunch of voice messages as well, like the voice notes where you could just talk. He was writing, but then he started sending me voice notes or whatever. He was laughing. He did not care, and I'm sitting here thinking like, this man did not care. Did you hear what you just reported? How much did he make? He came to do what he said he was gonna do, but I'm sitting here still thinking about, I should have took that money. I should have took that money. Like, that's all I can think about. He made what? So a couple of months went by and everything died down. A couple of people did quit. All of us did. That's all I'm gonna say. A couple of people did just quit overtime or whatever. No reason, just quit. They show up, called in and said we quit and then come back. Okay, so I guess they didn't want them to do the investigation and find out what's going on. So either way, after that happened or whatever, I'm gonna say about 8 months went by. And I got $1,000 randomly sent to my Cash App, and it said, "Thanks for holding me down." It didn't say Officer Scott. It didn't say Officer nothing. It didn't say nothing. It just said, "Thanks for always holding me down. Take care of that little boy." And I knew who it was from. And baby, do you think I sent it back? I did not. I spent that money. Okay, I spent that money, and baby, honey, that was the plug, baby. We worked with the plug, baby. I didn't even know I was working with the plug. I didn't know they hired the plug. He didn't give plug, okay? I don't know what he gave, but he didn't give plug. But it kind of explained his swagger, how he was around people. He didn't, he looked uncomfortable when he first got there, but then after a while, he can move around. He had this pause about him. He knew how to talk to people. Like, he was real smooth in how he talked with people and stuff like that. And, sometimes you'll walk up to a conversation, he be talking to them about the gangs, and they be like, "Yeah, man," and stuff like that. You thinking they talking about gangs. They really not talking about gangs. They talking about plays. They finessing things where you hearing one thing, but they talking about something else. So I was just thinking, like, that man was smooth. You hear me? They was not ready for him, because baby, he pulled a wool over my eye, because baby, I was right there and I ain't see nothing. Okay, you hear me? Anyway, he was the plug, child. He was the plug. Anyway, I thank y'all so much for watching this story time. I'm sorry about the little breakups, the breakup where I had to stop because that happened. Anyway, that's what y'all get when I'm on the couch. You see me on the couch, there's gonna be a couple of stops in place. But anyway, y'all make sure y'all do me a great big favor. Make sure you like, comment, share. And if you think somebody like this video, share it out with you. But I wanna see. For all the ones that still here, drop me some stars. Drop me some stars in the chat. I want to see if you're still here and you made it to this point. I want to see some golden stars in the chat. Anyway, make sure you do me a big favor. Go shop with me. Go shop with me at Diva Supply. It's my website. It's in the description down below. Make sure you click on and shop with me. I'm also doing a scrunchie trial for breast cancer where the half of the proceedings will go to the breast cancer patients. So please, they're only $4, baby. You ain't got to be the plug to buy them, but baby, let me tell you something. It's only $4, okay? Support the cause, okay? It's helping with research. It's also helping with people that cannot afford the treatment. So all half of the proceedings is going to the breast cancer. So make sure y'all buy y'all scrunchies. The scrunchies is just not scrunchies. It come with the breast cancer print and some other great goodies. But anyway, I will see y'all guys on the next video. Thank you for clicking play. And make sure if you're not subscribed that you subscribe today. Anyway, bye, Bessies. See y'all on the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye, Bessies.